Good morning friends and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets continue to show a lot of strength and both Dow and Nasdaq were up about 0.5 to about 0.25%, and in fact Nasdaq and S&P continue to trade at a record high levels. The non-farm payroll data that came in at about 1,48,000 were below market expectations of about 1,80,000, so that fueled the rally in the hope that the tapering is likely to happen only in the next year. And European markets too were up about 0.5 to almost about 1%. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Nikkei is up almost about 0.14%, and Hang Seng is up almost about 0.6%. And when we look at the SGX Nifty, it is suggesting that we are going to have a positive start to the tune of about 25 odd points. Back home, our markets also continue to show a lot of resilience. Some of the numbers which were out were in line or slightly better than market expectations. Here, SPAC delivered good set of numbers. Wipro too came out with better than expected numbers. So overall sentiment is definitely positive, and that is backed by strong inflows by the FIs. So we've seen the FIs buy in the cash market to the tune of almost about 850 crore. Remember friends, in the last 14 or 15 days, FIs have put in almost about 12 to 13,000 crore of money, which is quite a lot for our markets. However, DIIs continue to be sellers, and they were sellers to the tune of almost about 850 odd crore. And in the index futures, we have seen FIs buying to the tune of about 110 odd crore. Since we are consolidating around 6,200 levels, the overall bias continues to be positive, and one could look at accumulating the frontline names like for example IDFC, some of the metal names, because the Chinese data is going to be out tomorrow, and there could be some quick up move in stocks like Tata Steel, JSW Steel, even smaller stocks like SAIL on the back of that. Even Hindalco is showing a lot of resilience. So overall bias for the market continues to be positive. And on that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues and the ideas that we could have in the F&O desk.
Good morning friends, let's have a view at derivatives. Friends, from last 2 days, we have been seeing that the markets have been trading into a range of around say 50 to 60 points and has been hovering about the mark of 6,200. Now in yesterday's trade, we have seen that FIs were net sellers in futures and options segment by more than 800 crores. But we have seen some long positions taking place in the market, as around 5.7 lakh shares were added in open interest with a marginal increase in the cost of carry. The PCR ratio is unchanged at 1.27. Having a look at the options activity, friends, we've seen that unwinding has taken place in 6,300 call option, and the focus has shifted towards the higher range of 6,400 and 6,500 call option. Whereas if we have a look on the put side, it's clearly visible that 6,200 and 6,100 put option has seen good amount of activity taking place in the market. And we've also said in our previous conferences also that market may find support around 6,000, market may find support between 6,100, 6,200 odd levels, and yesterday also we have seen that markets holded up 6170 level and has bounced back sharply. Now what we feel is that the momentum in the market would continue, and as a bias for the market is positive. Any dip around say 6150 or say 6170, if we get into the market, that could be an opportunity to accumulate long positions. And from intraday perspective, one can go long on CSC by maintaining a stop loss of 345 rupees 75 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, the companies which will be announcing numbers. Hero MotoCorp, we are looking at a net profit of about 453 crore. Remember friends, for the last 2 quarters, the company has been reporting a margin of almost about 14%. So it remains to be seen this quarter whether they are able to sustain that. Also, the market share gain and the volume growth are the 2 important variables that the market will be watching out for. ACC and Ambuja Cement, both even previous quarter numbers were weak, and this time around also the expectation is that the net profit will be 181 crore for ACC, and for Ambuja it will be about 219 crore. The actual number could be slightly weaker than that, but we think that there there is going to be a lot of strength in the cement pack. Wipro came out with good set of numbers. Their dollar revenue grew by almost about 2.7% quarter and quarter, and because of the currency benefits, the actual revenue in rupee terms grew almost about 12.67% sequentially, and the net profit growth was also much better than market expectations. And importantly, the company has given a very positive guidance for the next quarter. Since the stock has run up, there may not be too much of an action, but we think Wipro should do well. Jyoti Lab, which is under our coverage, also came out with good set of numbers. Their revenue grew by almost about 33%, which was ahead of the expectations. There was a significant improvement in the operating profit margins, and the operating profit also doubled to almost about 42.7 crore. So we continue to have a positive bias on the Jyoti Lab. And Reliance Industries, some positive news as its telecom arm Reliance Infocom has won a unified telecom license, which would enable it to offer both voice telephony as well as data services. So positive for Reliance Industries. And State Bank of India will take a decision on raising the funds through a QIP route by the end of this month. So watch out for some positive action in the State Bank in the next about 2 to 3 weeks time. Wokart's manufacturing unit at Daman has come under a scanner of the UK health regulator, and the certification of GMP has been withdrawn by it. So negative news continue to flow through as far as Wokart is concerned. And Welspun Corporation is going to be focusing on the pipes and the plate business, and the shareholders have approved the demerger of the steel, infra and oil and gas and energy business into Welspun Enterprise. Jubilant Life Sciences is looking to list itself on the New York Stock Exchange, and it is also planning to raise close to about $150 to $200 million through the initial public offering there. And for GAIL India, some positive news as the oil ministry has decided to exempt GAIL India from paying any compensation to the state-owned companies for selling diesel and kerosene below the market rates, as the company is not making any windfall profits in line with the international crude oil and gas prices. So this is definitely a bit of a relief for GAIL India, so one can go long there with a stop loss of 327 and a target of about 344 to about 351. Tata Power, again some positive news as the company may sell some of its investments and raise equity to help slash 4.9 billion debt which is there on its books. So one can go long on Tata Power with a stop loss of 80.25 and a target of about 86. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a great trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.